So no bad words.
That's right.
And what's the camera? What's the camera that's actually?
It's in here, and actually, what I'm gonna do right now for you, since you asked.
Do you have like a randomizer that's like this is gonna be 1 now, 2?
You can do that, and I could and should, but usually I have my Kyle here. Okay.
He's a good guy.
He's great.
Handsome boy.
Handsome lad, competent, great hang.
Reminds me of this other guitarist who plays for Caroline Spence. What is his name? Just handsome, tuck in his shirt, kind of boy.
Not Jeremy Fetzer.
No, but he's good. He's playing with Nicole now too. So when he can't, Nicole asked me, and then I'll be in New Zealand for her, the one where Nicole needed me for. I love her stuff.
She's great. She's super
so good. Her music is so good.
I've seen all kinds of nice things about her. Look at us. Okay.
How do you like to do it? You like to kick it off with a song or kick it off with a talk?
I'll just introduce people or introduce you, and then you'll kick it off with your solo song.
A solo song.
And then
Cool.
we'll talk a little bit more. I think that we're showing our true colors here. I think everyone can hear this.
Oh yeah. Hi everybody.
So, yeah.
We're talking about handsome
Checking that.
boys.
Okay, cool. All right, camera 1.
What am I going to kick it off with?
Okay, guys, it's a Friday lunch. Welcome to the
Oh,
laboratory.
so good in there.
You look great, dude. You're filling that frame out nicely. Hey, everyone. Welcome to Friday Lunch. This is the show that features the best music and musicians in East Nashville, and just kind of a tap, gets a finger on the pulse of what's happening in our community right now. And I'm really excited about this week's guest. This is my buddy, Andrew Leahey. My man, how's it going?
It's good, man.
Good, dude.
No more headphones?
Well, yeah, I just, it ruins the line of the head.
Yeah.
You gotta
Got that good good curls.
You
Good
got
head
one
curls.
feature. You got to make a lot make it count. Let's talk a little bit, but first I'd love to hear a song.
Sure. I'm going to play a brand new one. I was going to premiere it yesterday at a gig, but I didn't. So I think this is actually the live premiere of it.
I feel really special, man.
It's sad. Should I explain what it's about?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. It's about I went to Colorado a couple of months ago because a buddy of mine, he was in the process of losing his partner of the last 22 years, his wife. So I was watching him watch his wife pass away, which was quite upsetting, more so for him, of course. But we talk every day now. He's been amazing, kind of keeping himself together, keeping everything okay for their kids. And so I wanted to watch write a song that was, I don't know, kind of, I told him you're doing a great job, man, but also it's okay if you break up a little bit. No one's gonna hate you for it, and you have time to put it back together. It's a much more upbeat song, but that is where it comes from.
Man.
So I think it's gonna be called This Side of the Leaving.
Best setup ever. Let's hear it.
Every shade of blue, seeing red, the things you do just to see her again, and spend one last day running like a Saturday sun into the sunset. It's been a long year of tornado sirens, bad storms darkening the horizons. And when the weather came in, you were made an eyewitness to the lightning. I won't say I know how you're feeling to be on this side of the leaving, but my, the way you keep together, I don't mind if you're breaking. This life is more than hard, sometimes it comes apart. You got time to remake it. What the hell can you do? The hell can you say? Why should someone else going through to someone start, no stop, no end. It's a figure 8. And I won't say I know how you're feeling to be on this side of the living. But my, the way you keep together, I don't mind if you're breaking. Sometimes the shaking starts, sometimes it comes apart. You got time to remake it. I won't say I know how you're feeling to be on this side of the leaving. But my, the way you keep together, I don't mind if you're breaking. Sometimes the shaking starts, sometimes it comes apart. You got time to remake it. Yeah.
Nice, dude.
Oh, I didn't mean to mute my strings as quickly as let that just ring in your heads. Hello, everybody who's out there, by the way. I see some of your pictures over on the control center here, and hi. It's nice of you to join us while you're eating food.
Yeah, this is great. I don't even have to host now. You can just do it all.
I miss my live streams. We did so many of them, like in the COVID era. Well, I guess we're in the COVID era still, but in the prime of the COVID era, we did them every
COVID
week.
prime. Yeah, but let's talk about that. So every week you with a homestead.
Yeah,
band?
a trio. So like 2 acoustic guitars or piano and drums, and we did 58 of them. I think
Dude,
only with an
amazing.
iPhone though. Like y'all can't see, but this is like we're flying like a spaceship right here. There's all kinds of stuff happening, but we just had an iPhone and we learned a ton of covers, over 400.
Amazing.
We have I have a playlist of them all, just all kinds of random stuff. From
You weren't-
like I Touch Myself to like Ricky
When I
Nelson.
think about you. Okay, cool. Just making sure.
Yeah, that
Got it
one.
right. Okay. And what motivated that? Just to like you didn't want to go crazy. You couldn't tour.
Yeah, so I think it began, and I don't know if we have any rock boaters out there, but I play a cruise ship called the Rock Boat.
Yeah, you do.
I have in the past. I would love to do it again. I think I probably will do it again. But when COVID began, like that, everybody like behind that cruise was having these. I think it was called like the Rock Boat Lunch or something, and they asked me to do one. And it had just been like 3 weeks or something without having gone out to play a gig.
Yeah.
And I think I was, I was asked if I could play like 20 minutes or something, but I played for an hour and a half because I was so jazzed. Plus, I had this tea where I'd put green tea and black tea into it, so I was just like insane. I was like, "Yo, want another
Substances were
song? I'll
involved.
play you another
Yeah.
song." And then after that, I just kind of kept it going. And then eventually, my bandmates wanted in, and then it just became a thing where like every Thursday night for a year and a half, we did it. And now we'll do it like on holidays, or we'll have a Christmas one or a Halloween one.
Yeah.
And we're planning one for next month. So an exclusive here. I haven't announced it.
Oh, wow, cool. What day is that? Do you know yet?
I think we're gonna do it Thursday, May 11th.
In the evening time.
The evening time, 7:00 Central Time.
Did you play with times at the beginning, like when you were starting it, or did you just like, we're going to do it this time every week, no
I
matter
think
what?
once we moved it to the evening, I just wanted to keep it the same, kind of like a TV show. Like I remember when I
Yeah.
was a kid, I really liked that show, My So-Called Life, and that was on a Thursday. So in my mind, I was just like, we're the My So-Called Life of the COVID era.
And
Just rather than Claire Danes, you have me and my buddy Jay, and my buddy Dan.
nice. Okay, so there's that passed the time for the COVID, the prime of the COVID, as you
Yeah.
said. And prior to that, I kind of want to go into the Andrew Leahey past
Let's do it.
and ask. So you're from Richmond, Virginia.
Yeah.
And grew up. Is it like a musical family you're from, or?
It's a musical family, but not like this kind of music.
Yeah. Did your parents played instruments though? Was there music
Not my
in the
dad. It was my
house?
mom. My mom was a classically trained vocalist, and so she was a music teacher before my brother and I came into the picture. But she was into like Kathleen Battle and huge operatic stuff, and so she would occasionally do like a church service or like a funeral or
But in like the
classical
opera
vocalist
style.
yeah, huge vibrato. And when we would go to church, she would like embarrass me, like
course.
hitting some high note and holding it out, and it would like ring around the church. I'm like, Mom, stop.
Showboating.
Totally.
Mom was.
Showboating for God.
Yeah.
Katie Leahey.
Katie Leahey.
But so like she put my brother and I into classical lessons for years, and so I did that for
Piano or
a year.
guitar or
Singing.
singing? Oh, singing.
Lyric baritone, like Italian arias and stuff.
Sure.
I
Star
competed.
vicino al belidol che s'ama.
I just remember that from my undergrad years.
Okay, so you know it
I
too?
was a vocal major for a minute.
Nice.
Yeah.
My jam was like Danza Danza Fanciulla Gentile.
Mm.
Danza Danza Fanciulla mio cantar.
Yeah, you got there's some resonance in there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, you can fill a room if you
It's
needed to.
easier. I mean, like, it's weird. Like I don't know if it's like muscle memory or something. It's easier for me to sing in that way often, but it's just like nobody wants to hear that kind of kind of singing over an
It's
electric
funny.
guitar.
It's like by modern standards, it sounds like trying too hard, right?
Totally.
But
It sounds like a Josh Groban thing or something.
Right.
Who I saw on Broadway like a couple weeks ago, like at Broadway in New York, not Broadway in Nashville.
Yeah.
He's the lead in a new version of Sweeney Todd. He's very good.
I'm sure he is. I mean, he's classically trained.
He can sing his butt off.
I mean, doesn't that kind of singing? It's got to come out of pre-microphone era, and this was like just like any proper technique of an instrument. That's how you get the biggest sound,
Yeah.
the biggest, richest, roundest tone.
Absolutely.
And you needed that to reach the back of the room in a 200-seat auditorium with no amplification.
Absolutely.
But God, thank God for microphones, so we can just go.
Yeah, we can whisper it. But I mean, I did that for years up through when I was in New York. I was like in like the Juilliard chorale at the Juilliard school for a couple of years. I wasn't a Juilliard student, but I like tried out as a community member because even at Juilliard, like there are not enough guys who want to sing.
Yeah.
So we got to perform at Carnegie Hall, and
Amazing.
It was awesome. It was kind of like the peak of that ladder, but I got up there and was just like, I want to play guitar and write my own songs, and more than that, I like how like you and I are going to play a song like together in a bit, and we're going to play it in our own way. We're not going to play it exactly as we would if we were on stage with a band.
Yeah.
And with a big classical choir, you always perform it kind of like the exact same.
The way.
You perform it
Yeah.
as it's written. And I understand why you would like do that, but to me, it's almost less musical that way and more like militant or something. So I got really good at that, but I kind of lost the expression with it.
Yeah, there's not a lot of, this is going to be not the right thing to say to a classical person, but not a lot of self-expression in classical
believe-
music.
yeah, 100%.
It's a proper interpretation of the composer's wishes.
Yeah.
And that's our purpose as musicians. And that, you want that if you're like piloting an orchestra. You don't want like the third chair in the second row of the violas to be like, no, I think it should go like this.
Sure.
But in terms of just, like being an individual in this world and trying to think of a song, it's like very freeing to do what we do.
And that's the
Right
beauty
or
of that.
wrong.
I mean, and when I played with you, so I played a gig with Korby, like 2 years ago now we established. God, it feels like
Crazy.
20.
A long time ago.
But I mean, I imagine you might have this, like a mentality. I have it as well. If a person comes into my band and they're going to play a gig and they're going to play guitar, let's say, and they're like, do you want me to play it exactly how it is on the album? Like, I don't want them to. I want them to like take whatever the main part of the blueprint is and play that, play the main riff or something, but then, give it your own spin, because that's going to sound like better and be more realistic. If you're just trying to copy what everybody else, previous to you played, it's not going to be as authentic. I think.
Yeah. Or is fun, in some way, That's what I like what we're going to do in a second. Well, maybe we'll do that right now. Let's just do that right now. This is a nice segue. And
Cool. Which one do you want to do? I'll let you choose.
Good at Gone.
Got it.
If that's cool.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
I mean, that coffee you gave me, I'm hyped up. I've had my 1 cup of coffee for the week, and I feel like I've had 10.
Love the energy, Andrew Leahey. You want to set this one up?
Yeah, it plays nicely into what we were talking about. When COVID began, I'm used to always being on the road. I play with my band. I play with an artist named Elizabeth Cook. And so I'm used to just, being gone all the time. And my wife at the time of COVID, was a veterinary grad student. She's graduated since and is a veterinarian now in Nashville. But she was gone, with school stuff. I was gone with music stuff. And so I wrote a song about how we had, we become accustomed to being apart because you have to be when you're in that kind of position. You have to not let it kill you, but it's also weird when you're in a loving marriage and you've gotten good at being away from one another.
Yeah.
Good at gone.
Let her rip.
2, 3. Who the hell caused this goodbye? 'Cause it's not close to what good feels like. As my place gets taken by the rearview mirror, it holds a view of you until you disappear. How it would be bittersweet if as good as it gets is getting good at gone. How it would be bittersweet if as good as it gets is getting good at gone. Sometimes it's you, most times it's me, making it hard to be us when one of us leaves. Still there's a light and it never goes out. It keeps the path bright till I darken that ground. How it would be bittersweet if as good as it gets is getting good at gone. How it would be bittersweet if as good as it gets is getting good at gone. When the words I miss you just don't come close. When the love you get and ain't the love you chose. When the smoke's all clear and it's safe to breathe. You can find me here because I still believe that it would be bittersweet if it's good as it gets is getting good at gone. How it would be, yeah, bittersweet if it's good as it gets is getting good at gone. Korby on lead guitar, y'all. I love switching those roles around.
Yeah, that was really fun.
Likewise.
Yeah, great song too. I love the chord progression is unorthodox.
I appreciate that. Is it unorthodox? Yeah, it's kind of got, I think maybe it adds, is there like a bar of 2 or something? The boom, boom, boom.
Also, anything that's not 1/4/5 to me is unorthodox.
Fair
so
enough.
Consider the source. Okay, so awesome. And so you got into this from the classical side of things.
I guess
So
so. I
you
mean, at the same time, I was also like taking, guitar lessons from the
Mm-hmm.
time I was 6 because my older brother was in lessons, and I would have to. I think it was like Wednesdays after school, we would leave and walk to a guitar place, and I was 6. So when you're, like waiting outside of like a room and your brother's in there having lessons, you're just like, what do I do? I cannot yet read. I
Yeah.
can't amuse myself. I just want to have lessons too. So my mom was like, will you actually keep up with it? And I did, and my brother, he didn't.
He fell
that,
by the
Jason.
wayside.
I mean, he's also an artist. He's a writer, and he works at NYU in Manhattan, and he's great. But yeah,
So your parents were they dismayed when you got a little more serious about this in your 20s? Maybe they thought it was a phase, and then it wasn't.
kind of.
Yeah,
Yeah, my
sure.
mom is just so squarely in that country, in the classical world. I remember she was a teacher, and she like told me that one of her kids had asked her like, "What does your son do?" And she was like, "Well, he used to sing opera, but now he sings." And then she like imitated one of my songs in a very like pedantic way.
Not flattering. Not flattering.
Not flattering, but it's okay. So your parents are always your parents. They're always a
Yeah.
little bit confused by you.
Yeah, maybe they should be. If they understand you all the way through, maybe you didn't push them hard enough.
Sure.
You
And
know?
I mean, in high school, they were great. They would go to all the choir competitions and like the high school musicals and that kind of thing.
And did they come around at some point? Have they, largely accepted you for the
My
choices
mom
you've
will
made?
come to concerts now and will get like right up front and then like hold her ears. And I'll ask her afterwards, and she's like, "Well, I want to see you, but it's loud." And I'm like, "Well, don't come in front of everybody and just have your." It's a caricature of, I mean, like her, arms are out wide and everybody can see it.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
yeah, if you've been to a show in Richmond, Virginia, you've seen my mom do that.
Amazing, dude.
Yeah.
But it's love. It's just self-preservation.
It's
is
love and looking
all.
out, looking
It's
out
love
for
to
her
a point.
hearing.
You're not going to endanger herself for you.
And I get that
mean,
too. I have earplugs for that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like
Yeah,
most people.
totally.
When I was in a band in my 20s in Bellingham, Washington, we had this bluegrass band that got a little dancey now and then, and so people would come and dance. And there was this very small-boned woman I never met her, but she showed up at every single local show with like construction grade earphones and just like right up at the front, dancing her ass off, but like
With those.
protected. Like
I
once
love when
removed.
kids have them, like
I do
small
too.
kids,
It's
like
super
infants
cute.
who are at a concert but have those things on.
Nothing says good parents like those overkill headphones at a concert.
Yeah, my brother, he took my niece to an Elizabeth Cook concert. We were playing with Blackberry Smoke in Port Chester, New York, and I wanted so bad to get my niece her like initial pair of those headphones, and he was like, "No, we've got them." And I was like, "But can I get like another pair?" And he was like, "No, we've got them for her."
Like I wanted to be.
I felt like it was a
be that
cool like
guy.
rock and roll uncle kind of present. Like here's some ear protection.
Look, can I ask you about your health odyssey of 10 years ago, specifically in the context of how did it do anything to catalyze like what your awareness of this is our once and only life and what should I do with it?
Absolutely.
So maybe say a little bit more about that as much as you want to. I just didn't want
Oh,
to.
I'm so happy to talk about it because it has a good ending. So we're coming up on the 10-year anniversary of my brain tumor diagnosis. It was August of 2013. So I was having hearing issues, and I'd been having crazy migraines for a couple years prior to that.
Mm-hmm.
And they began when I lived up in Michigan. So I thought, like there could be an allergen in the air or something. I remember going to Lollapalooza in 2010 or something and just getting the worst migraine, and it for like 3 days. Anyway, and it continued when we were here, and it picked up a lot when I was on tour. Anyway, eventually it got diagnosed as an acoustic neuroma. So neuroma means a nerve tumor, and acoustic is your hearing nerve. So I had it on my right hearing nerve, and I had to get a brain operation, a craniotomy, like legit brain surgery. And it worked, and I haven't had a tumor in my head for like a decade now.
And it wasn't like musically induced or anything like that, or exacerbated. It's a hereditary.
They don't know where
thing.
it comes. It could have, I don't know, hormones in chicken, or I don't know, like hanging out under a power line. Or my cell phone. I don't know. It's weird to not know it, but I think it had just grown like to a level where it had like passed a threshold, and the like effects were more noticeable, which is why we ultimately got an MRI, and and got the prognosis.
And it was pain, like consistent pain that prompted that, like
The headaches. It was headaches. I mean, it was like rapid hearing loss that kind of got me to,
Get your
go to
attention.
a lot of appointments.
Yeah.
And they put me on this medication, crazy like a steroid called like dexamethasone, which is what they put Trump on when he got COVID. So it is some heavy duty stuff. They were trying to combat what they like thought was a virus that was causing my hearing loss.
Yeah.
And when I completed my however many weeks of that prescription, and I was getting weaned off of it, like your body has a hard time with that. It's like, I mean, I assume it's like speed.
You're like addicted.
I've never tried speed, but I passed out in a Kroger parking lot in the period of like trying to be like weaned off of it.
Whoa.
And when I passed out, I hit my head on the concrete, and that's why they gave me an MRI, just to make sure that I hadn't caused any issues when I fell.
So it was accidental.
It was an accident, but I'm kind of glad that.
Yeah, for sure.
And it was only because my wife was like really adamant with my doctors, like you have to give him an MRI.
Thank God for wives. I mean, it's, seriously though, if you didn't have a girl like doing that,
That's true. Yeah.
Who knows?
But it was just a weird. I mean, like odyssey is the right word. But
Yeah.
I was really glad to learn what it was, because I had been canceling plans for a number of months. I had like hearing issues. It felt kind of like a pressurized. I don't know. It felt like I had cotton in my ears. And there was like a balance component. I was walking into walls when I would try to walk through like doorways. It was very confusing.
Yeah.
And so to have an answer of what it was, even if the answer was it's a brain tumor and you need a brain operation, it was good to have that answer and good to know, what the path through it was.
And how long, once you got diagnosed, was that to like basically
3
being
months.
okay? Oh wow, so it's quick.
Oh, well, sorry.
recovery
There was
and
like 3
everything.
months. Oh no. So there was like 3 months between the diagnosis and the operation, and then it took about a year to get completely better. I was like on the couch for 2.5 months. I wasn't allowed to like lift anything heavy. Everything hurt, and every sound that I heard would have kind of this weird, kind of like a slapback echo, but in a much lower interval.
Whoa.
Because I think, it's like they're working in your brain, like specifically on your hearing nerve. So I think there was just some healing that had to be done.
Yep.
And while that healing was happening, it was really, influencing my hearing. So I remember my wife put on an Iron and Wine album to try and calm me down. And it was like the spookiest thing I'd ever heard, because, he has like 20 harmonies.
Yeah.
And they were all at this weird, like demonic, like interval.
That's just his music, I think.
Yeah. But eventually I got it under control. And like we mentioned earlier, cut way back on coffee, eliminated alcohol, and it really helps with my headaches.
Yeah.
I continue to get headaches, but it's maybe like, a migraine once a week rather than every day, which I know that's a lot for people, but like for me, I mean, I can do a lot with a migraine.
And so I'm so glad that everything is okay and you've
you,
recovered, and it's been 10 years. And so that's
Yeah.
very much in the rear view.
Yeah.
Did you change anything? Was there like a before and after this in your life or your approach to life, or you've always been like you strike me as a pretty even keeled guy. And fairly, happy in your outlook. You're one of the funniest people I know, especially.
I'm funny?
Oh, dude.
Oh, buddy,
I can't
thank
keep up
you.
with our texts. I'm
You're
just
so
like,
funny.
I'll see you at 1 p.m. You're like, I'm not gonna wear a shirt. I'm like,
I did say that, but it was a lie. I wore a shirt. Yeah, I mean it.
That's because of my serious text that followed up. I was like, no, please, Andrew, please come clothed. There's a dress
wear a
code
shirt.
with Friday lunches.
But I'm not wearing pants. These are actually like just my legs.
See?
No, it did. I mean, I'm still trying to learn how to channel that in a good way, because it can make you manic, or it can, for a while, especially in a musical way, like with my band after the operation, if there was like a canceled gig, or if like a person in my band was like, I can't go on that tour, I would have a hard time viewing it in a context other than, well, this could be our last gig ever, because you could hear that you have a brain tumor, and you could hear that you have to have a brain operation. So like you can't come to this gig, and that means we might not play forever.
Yeah.
I think there's a good way to kind of, like channel that energy into like a very kind of go-getter mentality. But it's a continued effort to do that. And also it's, even with that go-getter mentality, you have to realize that like not everybody has that same experience. And, I don't want to come off as like too much like to people. So I mean,
Sure.
I went through a period of like burning through people in my band after the operation because, you know, like the year, I think it took maybe like 2 years in order for like me to get into my kind of pre-operation like a touring schedule again, and we were playing like 180 gigs a year because I was just like go 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 go.
Sure.
I was trying to make up for what I perceived as lost time as well. Yeah, but it makes you realize how awesome it is to hear and you know, because
Oh,
I
for
was
sure.
like told I might like lose my hearing. I had a very good chance of that, and I didn't.
Yeah.
It gives you lessons that I don't think you can learn otherwise. I wish I could have learned them in a manner that wasn't undergoing a craniotomy, but
Sure.
I'm glad that I learned them nonetheless.
Totally. Well, let's you know, I'm just gonna say prove it with another song.
Let's
see what
prove
you
it.
got.
Well, I didn't mean to cuss. I don't know if this is.
Say whatever you want. Let me make it a small adjustment.
Yeah.
Make sure that this is all okay. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. This is really fun. And I'm just checking my.
There's construction happening next door.
Yeah, it's live.
This is a very happening area of East Nashville here.
Do you want to set this one up?
Guilty Man. Yeah, so we've mentioned her a couple times, but I also play with an artist named Elizabeth Cook, who's an Americana artist. I think I called her an outlaw country queen in an article I wrote in Rolling Stone before I played with her. We were on tour. God, it must have been right before COVID. It was 2019. It was an acoustic tour, so it was her and me and a tour manager. And the tour manager and I were splitting a room, and I wrote this song in Chicago while I assumed he was like trying to sleep and like hating me. So like 2
Likely.
or 3 o'clock, I wrapped it up.
This is like kind of a staple of the band. You play this one pretty regularly.
Yeah, it's. I mean, for
Fair
a
to
while
say.
we just kept coming up with like mid-tempo ballads, but like you can't play an up-tempo rock show with all these ballads. So yeah, we play
it's
it
hard to do.
a lot now.
All right, let's do it.
2, 3, 4. I keep a lookout. You bet I notice the kind of girl who brings the world into focus. I've been in favor, I've been a fan of turning fires that are burning to 11. But if we're playing games of hide and seek, you and me, but if the words we say are different than the ones we mean, it's getting tough to get enough of you. If it's a crime to take the time it takes to love you, then I am a guilty man. I am a guilty man. I turn my own self in. I am a guilty man. You rattle heavy, you shine electric. You're kissing babies like you're up for re-election. I joined the campaign, I wrote the ticket, let my reservations die and take my paid vacation with it. But if we're playing games of hide and seek, you and me, but if a running mate is the last thing that you could need, I know I'm leaving my prints at the scene. And if it's a crime to spend my time still believing it there, I am a guilty man. I am a guilty man. I turn my own self in and call up the lawyers again. I am a guilty man. After my own self-venom, no kind of love's innocent. I am a guilty man. Good picking, dog.
Nicely done, man. I'm just holding on for dear life.
No, you sound great. So we were talking about what to wear, and I was like, wear a good blazer. And then I didn't abide by the dress code, and he did. And you look awesome. Is that a corduroy blazer?
Yeah, this is the only time I've ever worn this thing. I bought this thing and I was like, this is cool.
Yeah.
And it doesn't go with anything. It doesn't even go with this right now. And I put a little bandana on it. Now I'm just like, I'm a mess.
The yellow bandana is a good Korby staple.
It is the Korby
It
staple.
really is.
It's like my one accessory. I feel like I'm disclosing all my secrets here. Okay, well, so past, present, future. You got the show coming up. In a month, that live stream show.
I've got that, and then
what else is going on?
Well, if you happen to be in Nashville, we're doing a full band Bluebird gig.
Awesome.
It hasn't even been announced yet. I don't even have it on my
Full band at the Bluebird?
Yeah, so they do that on Sundays.
Wow.
It's cool to. I mean, you need to kind of keep it, low volume. But I really like gigs like that because it kind of gets back to what we were talking about earlier of like the difference between classical music and non-classical music. I like the adapting of what is otherwise a pretty loud electric set to a not so loud electric set, or a like you play electric guitar and your bandmate plays acoustic kind of set. That's July 9th.
July 9th is that show, and then bigger picture. You're still playing with Elizabeth Cook.
Yeah.
Are you guys touring? A big summer tour? Or?
Not a big summer tour this year. We're working on a new album of hers. Elizabeth is writing it.
Nice.
We do have some. I mean, it's not announced yet, so I can't let the cat out of the bag. But some cool stuff in the fall.
Cool stuff in the fall.
A cool pairing, us playing with some other people in the fall. And then like every year I do this big Traveling Woolberries tribute charity animal fundraiser thing in Nashville, where we play a bunch of Traveling Woolberries songs and songs by the individual Traveling Woolberries. So like a Jeff Lynne ELO song.
It's an epic night. It's a big community night
with a bunch of guests, and
it happens at the Basement East, which is like one of the best rock clubs in the country, and good sized rooms, like 450,
650.
650. Oh yeah,
sell it out every year.
Wings. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
what a party.
It really is. And I'll say again, if any rock boaters are out there, it conflicted this past year or like this current year with the rock boat, but it does not conflict for next year. It's the previous weekend, so we can just kind of be the pregame to your musical good time.
On the way to Florida, stop by Nashville.
Just come to Nashville first. We're just right on the way if you're coming from
just keep trickling
somewhere north of us.
Nice. Well, let's send this thing off with the piano song.
Yeah,
and,
let's do it.
Take a second to set that up. But I'll just say too, because I'm gonna get rid of this mic. Thank you so much, dude.
I really
love you.
this.
I love your music. I love your soul. I love your
buddy.
multifaceted talent. You're also like a really gifted journalist and writer.
Thank
and
you.
we didn't even get into that, but we wanted to focus on the musical side. But
well, from another. So my mother-in-law calls it like a jammer if you do a lot of like stuff. So I feel like you're a jammer as well.
From one jammer to another.
With the script writing,
salute
the
you.
acting, and all of that.
You know,
he's got a lot of cool stuff that I don't even know if I can like announce. But
nah, well, this is about you.
Well, will you tell them about what you're doing this weekend though?
What am I doing this weekend? Oh yeah, we're doing the Spring Fling.
Yeah.
I should plug that for a second, even though most people will see this later. Every year, my wife and I, we did it for the first year last year, and it was amazing. We had a big party / neighborhood talent show, we'll call it, in our front yard in East Nashville, and raised a bunch of money for charity. And it was so fun last year that we decided to do it again. So on Sunday, we're having the second annual Spring Fling, we call it. And I think Leah Blevins is headlining. My buddy Robbie Hecht is playing a set, Nora Jane Struthers. And then we're having an improv group is doing their thing. They're out at Third Coast. I go to the Third Coast shows kind of a lot. There's like a comedy club out there.
Yeah.
So we try to support them whenever we can. So they're coming to us. And a set from a comedian, my friend Allison Summers, who was in Morse Code. She was one of the actors, the character actor in Morse Code. But she's hilarious. So, we'll serve homemade ice cream. We're grilling burgers for everybody. There's live painting from my new friends, Nathan and Judd, the Plein Air Ramblers, they go by. I got to tell you this story really quick.
Do it.
We weren't going to do this for the Spring Fling. Yeah. Because there's too much going on right now, and Rand is super busy, and I'm busy, But we felt like we should do it, but we were just like, I don't know. And we picked one weekend. We're like, I guess we could wedge it into this Sunday. It could be the only thing. But it still, it's like, I got to book all of it. What are we going to do? And so it came to a head 2 weeks ago. I was like, babe, I don't think we can do the spring fling this year. And she's like, you're right. We shouldn't do it. We're not going to do it. I'm like, okay, we're not going to do it. We shook hands on it. I'm like, it's okay. We're letting go of this. Maybe next year. And next morning, I wake up and I'm sitting in this room, and the windows are the blinds are drawn, so I can see outside. And I see this kind of character-y looking guy come up, and he's looking at Nick's truck. My buddy Nick has this very cool old vibey truck that's always parked behind our house, but for some reason it's parked on the street. Maybe for the first time ever, he just happened to do that. And these character guys are kind of like weird guys are looking at the truck, and all of a sudden one of them starts busting out an easel. And I text Nick, I'm like, dude, did you ask somebody to come paint your truck? And instantly, like, Nick's coming up the driveway to see what's going on. I go out there, and this guy's like, hey, man, I'm Nathan, and, we just like to go around town and, find cool stuff to paint. Would you mind if we set up the easel on the sidewalk? Dude. And I was like, of course. And his twin brother, also paints independent of him. So he sets the easel up across the street. Anyway, I posted a story about this on my Instagram reel because I was like, cool. Yeah. Do you mind if I set up my phone on time lapse? And he's like, yeah, cool. So there's like a 2-hour time lapse of him just bringing to life this painting. And it was awesome. And also we got to know these guys, and they're just like old school, born and raised in Nashville, and like students of local history. They're talking about like DeMonbrian's Cave. It's like, oh yeah, it's down there. It used to be a tourist attraction that kind of shut it down, but you can still get there off the Cumberland and check it out.
I need to hear about that.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, well, I'll tell you more about it.
Got it.
Anyway, we had the best hang with these guys. They were awesome dudes, and it was just like there was a kind of a guardian angel quality to the experience. And so Randa wasn't home for this. She gets home. I'm all excited. I'm like, babe, we had this amazing adventure. I tell her this whole story, and first thing she says, she's like, it's probably a sign. I'm like, I know, it's probably a sign. I'm like, we got to do this spring fling. So I texted them right after and see if they were available. So they're coming.
Nice.
So it's gonna be awesome. It's
get yourself painted.
It's a little overwhelming right now. It's sold out. So we're like, you can't come. Don't come.
Don't come.
But we'll tell you all about it later, and maybe we'll. I think that if this keeps going on, it might get bigger and turn into a whole neighborhood thing. Who knows?
Love it.
I do feel like one of the ails. Like I don't know how you feel, but I noticed that whenever I'm like at my most anxious or like worried about the world or my life or whatever, a lot of it involves being on my phone and seeing the world filtered through some algorithm that's sending you stuff that it thinks you need to know.
Sure.
And I noticed that whenever I hang out with people in real life, I'm like, it's okay.
It feels okay.
We're okay. It's okay. People are really like, most people are looking out for each other in a basic human way. And doing this event, we live in a pretty eclectic neighborhood, and all our neighbors come, and it's just a great little way to plant something nice. Not, it doesn't take hardly any effort. It feels like it right now, but so it's just nice to do it, and then we'll wake up Monday morning and clean our house up.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was a long pitch, and thank you for coming. And
Absolutely.
We'll set up this piano.
Yeah, let's piano it up
and take it home. All right. You guys
can they hear me if I talk loud?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, they can definitely hear you. These mics is live.
So this next song, it's called My Avalanche. You want to?
Yeah, it's a little closer to this.
Ooh.
Okay. You got that. Let's put your pedal where you want it, and I'll throw a sandbag on it.
Nice.
Okay.
It's another COVID era song. In honor of Korby, who plays piano and guitar and a number of other things.
See if that's will that do it for you?
Hey.
Do you need to move that? You need me to move it?
It depends if you can hear me from this.
Oh, you can definitely hear you.
Hello. Yeah, I don't need to be all up on it.
Yeah, let me
adjust.
Play a tiny bit. Make sure.
For sure.
Okay.
We're checking the mic. Checking the mic.
I like it.
right, cool. Man, I feel like all my exposition here is a real bummer, but it's a song about anxiety, a song about depression. It can be easier if you name a thing, whether it's a love song. It can help to be like, hey, I like you, I'm in love with you, or it could be cool to be like, hey, I'm having a hard time. I'm no longer having a hard time, but in COVID we all were, right? So it's a song called My Avalanche, where the avalanche is a metaphor for the anxiety stuff. How we doing over there, Mr. Cameraman?
All right.
Get your Hollywood skills on.
Yeah.
Cool. So this is how we're going to close it out. My Avalanche, from me to you.
Here comes the thunder again to turn that solid sun into grains of sand that'll bury me or slip right through my hands. My avalanche. I feel the shake of loosening ground, like some hollowness turned into sound, like something high and heavy come unwound, and now bearing down. Yet still I keep a vacancy and lights on after dark, so she can find me, have resigned and wind me back to start, like I got some kind of halfway heart. Can I hear it rush from behind, like it's come to slow me down at double time, stop me in my tracks, freeze me mid-climb, and then press rewind. Yet still I keep a vacancy and lights on after dark, so she can find me, have resigned and wind me back to start, like I got some kind of halfway heart. 'Cause ever since the beginning began, there's always been this kind of bad man, and in the mirror I've been seeing more of him. My avalanche.
Korby over there. See you guys.
See you guys. Thanks so much. All right.
Get blocked if you do that.
Totally. You just my episode just got demonetized.
We